This is Andrew Mallet, Project INCENSION, with Pattie Brassard, Trump advisor, mikmac shaman, ex-U.S. military, Army Looking Glass, Freedom Team Iraq, NASA communications computer expert, and Karen lucyk McDonald, 13 White Bear Klanmother, Quantum QBS Nurse, Health Free Energy Medicine, medical X, and we have a bunch of audience also. So why don't you guys go ahead and give the rundown on what you're going to talk about. Let's start with you, Pattie.
Actually, I was just going to try and bring people up to date and hopefully take questions, because everybody's been bugging me to do a live show, and everybody's got a bunch of questions and they want me to do a video and bring them up to date. There we go. We got some people connecting up now.
Hi, Karen.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Nice to see you guys all in here. So I'm Karen lucyk McDonald, for those of you that don't know me. We've been doing Project INCENSION since 2016, and we used to film basically every week. And we've taken a little hiatus, and we're having a restoration reunion and all that fun stuff now. So this is our fourth year anniversary of something. So I do quantum medical, and I'm going to turn this over to Pattie Brassard. Pattie Brassard, as Andrew mentioned, is a wealth of information. Those of you that know Gene Decode, and I know there's some of the moderators as well for those different groups in here, is that Pattie was the one that provided the secret ancient and all those kind of artifact things to Gene last year.
All the map and data.
The map and the data and hours and days we spent debriefing them. So Pattie, do you want to go over a little bit? People are all excited about whether it's COVID, children, election stuff, what we can expect. Can you go through that, please, for us, please?
COVID is the name of the op. We light workers and all the military just cleaning out the dumps and everything with the vaccine. So if you understand things from that standpoint, you can make sense of what Trump says at the podium for the audio optics with the Democrat controlled public.
So you're saying that basically what Donald Trump is saying then is in code, and it's military code, and you have the decoding book too. So what do you see is happening? What are you being told? What is it that we need to know? Is this a need to know thing? That's what I'm asking.
There's some things I can't talk about yet because they're in the works. But let's put it this way: I'm just gonna make this statement, and you can make of it what you will. If the time comes and they have to all certify their votes, and most of them are bogus, and then the courts decide that A, they're bogus, or B, you can't have a recount because a bunch of them are in the process right now of actually destroying all the evidence, so no recount is possible. Then the whole thing actually goes to the congressional thing, and Trump ends up staying in without being voted in, which means it doesn't invalidate his staying in, but it also doesn't count as him being voted in, which means 4 years hence he can be voted in again for a total of 12 years. And if he stays in via the court decision and it going to Congress just to get the most count, he doesn't have to stay stuck to the Republican Party either. He's then independent, which is what he wants.
So I know you're in Massachusetts, and I know you presented some evidence to me in the last couple of days too, that again, where I've seen too, and I mean, there's been more than enough presented, I think, between Sidney Powell and Rudy and Jen and the whole entire
here's what I found going on up here in Massachusetts. If you live in an RV like I do and a whole lot of other people do, and when you moved there, you registered to vote and everything.
Mhm.
If your RV and your legal residence is in a commercial or industrial zone of your local city or town, rather than a residential,
Mhm.
your vote's invalidated right there.
So your vote means absolutely nothing aside from
Right.
we know that, thousands of other states, the veterans, I mean, their specific ballots all went missing. Now, one of the things I contacted Dr. Shiva in the last couple of days, because I thought it was very interesting as we, started talking, and then you presented as well that when we went to look at the Massachusetts Senate ballot, he wasn't on it either, and he's running. So
Yeah.
I sent some of that information, forwarded it to him for evidence as well. So I know he's going to be looking at that. So, okay, you've given us some scenarios about what's going on with the election.
Anybody that's got questions, I've got the chat window open. You can type in questions in there as well.
Right,
I'll
and
do my
then we
best to
can
answer.
unmute you at the time. So we're both watching the chat room. So this is the time to start loading up your questions. There's Waff and Edward and Papa Bear and Nick and Susan and Sandy, and we want to thank everyone. Vincent's in here. So there's a lot of people in the chat room. So we're monitoring that. So there's going to be more and more coming in here. So what you were saying then, Patty, is that this scenario that we've been presented with is not, it was basically a setup. Is that not correct, by the military? Like you said, to further, as there's been indictments, sealed indictments, to get more on the voter fraud and stuff like this, that will present them going basically for treason, high treason, acts of war, and then directly into Guantanamo Bay. Is that more what
what most people don't get is the fact that all of our public opposition out there now are clones, and they're under our control.
Thank you. I wanted to bring that up. So
Just let's put it that way, because we've already picked all these people up, took them down, deposed them at Guantanamo, charged them. Once we got everything out of them, we could. They got basically either got a lethal injection if they were good about it. If they weren't, they got a bullet to the back of the brain.
Can you tell the people, the individuals, their names and who?
there are lists that are out right now.
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm one on here.
That's an extremely long list, because it doesn't just include all the major players here in the United States. It includes worldwide.
How about a few of the big names?
Biden,
That's-
Obama.
yeah.
So is that one
Pelosi.
Biden or two? Do we have one or two? Can we go for? Is that Hunter and Joe?
Two,
Or
both.
Thank you.
Both the Obamas, both the Clintons, Pelosi.
Mhm.
Most of Gates is gone. Him and his wife. That's what I mean. All of these major players, they're already dead.
Yeah, and
This is a game that we're playing now, A, to wake up the public who is not awake, and B, the major players out there now that we have to take out, which we're setting up for now, is Antifa and Black Lives Matter. They're both terrorist organizations. So we're trying to set up the showdown with them at this point.
And how does Soros fit into this? We just had something come in our
He's
feed
dead
lines.
too.
Okay. I was going to say that just came out in the last
It's
couple
a
of days
clone.
as well.
We put a clone out of him too. We
Okay.
put the clones out because eventually there is going to be a public prosecution of these assholes. But so yeah, we're in control of them. But actually, that's how we get more and more of the bad guys, because we implanted cameras behind the right eyes when the clones record our transmitters in the ears and put them out there when we took the originals. So
Mhm.
they were actually gathering data for us.
and what are the people that you see on mainstream TV? Those are actors, clones. What are those for people who don't know?
What?
Does say like Obama's, Biden's on TV? That's our actors, clones. What are those?
Well, originally they were clones. What's out there now is what we call androids or biobots.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Can you
clones
just
only last for long, and there's only one place just out to the west outside of Washington where clones can be refreshed, and they didn't. This has been going on longer. Just like cleaning out the dumps is taking longer than we had planned on. So the clones kind of wore out. So we had to do a secondary rollout replacement.
Can you discuss a little bit of the DUMS? I know Gene the Dakota's been out, and I did a show with him with Judge and Dr. Alfred Weber at News Inside Out 2 months ago. So we focused a little bit more on North America, a little bit on, but again, internationally and stuff like that. Can you talk a little bit about where that's at? Because I know in Saskatoon, we know there's weather warfare, and we've been in snow lockdown. I literally could show you out here 3 feet of snow because we can't get out here for the last 2 weeks. Now, we know that's part of the dump closure. We know that there's been, again, tremors, earthquakes, all sorts of things going on. We've heard about Australia, and now I've got 2 phone calls in the last 2 days about Manitoba, Canada, because if they go out right now of their house, they're being thrown into jail or fined between $1,000 and $2,000. So is this part of the dump closure, or is that the cabal being assholes? And well, you guys are underneath scooping up the children. So how does this all fit? People are confused here.
What surprised us the most is after cleaning out some of these dumps and getting the kids out and burning them out, they actually went back in. Some of them had replicators and actually went back into ones we cleaned out. That is what's taking longer. Plus, some of these turned out to be not just human dump systems, but tied all the way down into the Atlantean, really deep stuff. So, I mean, this has progressed out into the tunnels that go into the ocean and everything else. It's turned into a nightmare.
So with you taking down the simulation of the matrix and everything else, which you did a couple of years ago, in the frequencies and allowing people to start operating under some of their somewhat capacity again, what's the status now? As you know, people say, are we going home? You know, this is 3D being left. We got parallel Earths here. We got biosphere ships. We got the Andromeda Council, the Octarians. Who's going where, what's going what, and how's this gonna go?
The matrix, the 55 metronomic harmonic matrix that was being broadcast, we killed that and toasted it a couple of months back. The whole switch that the tribes thought was going to be thrown on the winter solstice this year, we already threw that almost 2 months ago now.
Right.
So people are already getting pulled. There's and this is because things change. There's 6 other Earths that I know of that I've seen. Your Nibiru countdown group, they can't move on until they get their catastrophe. So they're going to get moved to 1, and that's what's going to happen to it. All your really Christian holy rollers, they're going to get moved to another Earth, and they're going to have their rapture and all that, which is why they've asked me to stay my hands, because the fake Return of Jesus is sitting on Ashtar Command's ship up there. I told him he's not allowed to come down to this Earth or I'll kill him, because they were not a good people. And actually, they had all their planets up level, dimensional level 13 through 15, and all 6 of their worlds, I went and wiped them out.
So this whole Palladian Ashtar Command, it's a no go. Don't go there, right?
Yeah, the Ashtar Command are not good guys there. It's the Ashtar Corporation. Matter of fact, 3 years ago, we caught a whole mess of them moving, trafficking in humans, working out of Sydney, Australia. I blew up 3 of their planet ships at that point, and I told the commander I wanted him the hell out of the system. He hasn't gone. And our, the council upstairs, not the Council of 12, but the non-corporeals, say he has to be around to do that Earth rapture bullshit. So those souls can move on. That's the way this is going to go. People, that's why I keep telling people to imagine your best possible future going forward, to guarantee you go to where you ought to go. Because it's up to you where you go.
Now, how does the vaccine then tie in that, besides disconnecting the soul? I know as a quantum therapist and nurse as well, that's the most evilest thing here. But now we've heard many controversial things. We've heard about the Cabal one, which we know the whole thing is just, it could get on and on about that. but we're hearing something that you were telling me something about. No, there's going to be possibly a therapeutic coming out. So how does that
Well,
tie in now?
With part of people being pulled, a lot of people are going to have to go to a medical ship first, then go to 4D for basically re-education, because ain't hardly any other than the light workers I know that I work with who are capable of controlling their brain transmissions. So you're basically going to be taught how to communicate telepathically and shut down the rest of the stuff that's pouring out of your mind 24/7. Because most people up at 5D don't use their voice, communicate mentally. And to throw all these humans up there with no training, you drive everybody else insane.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at
4D runs the other direction, time stream wise. So
right. Right. So a lot of people are, this is going to be recorded for people that, have any questions. So if you feel comfortable to speak or something or want to speak to Patty directly, let us know in there. Now, the timelines, tell me about a little bit of the timelines here in the 4 to 5D thing. How's that happening? Is this like a Mandela thing? Is it, depopulation? People, like you said, they're creating or manifesting their relocation as well.
When people get pulled from here, it shows up as a death. That doesn't mean they're dead. And as far as depopulated, no. But bear in mind, it's not going to be like it is here, and you're not going to remember all the really traumatic stuff from here because it's not going to help you move forward. So that there'll be some editing of your memories so that you can more easily move forward. Because the trauma from here that's not part of a valid classroom is counterproductive. This is 3D. It's you either got it or there are those of us that are built a little differently who have it.
Define how you're built a little differently.
This classroom has so much shit running on it that actively, interferes with that sort of thing, including the human residents, which we're gradually gonna. It's like a consciousness limiter. Where eventually, either we, the people, are going to break it, or as we move, because we're now above the galactic plate and we're moving around the front of the Milky Way in its directional travel, the energy level's going higher and higher and higher, and eventually that's going to break it anyway. So it's going to break the governor, if you will.
Okay. Some of the questions in the chat room here too. I know that, like I said, vaccines are toxic. They're a genocide thing, aside from the thimerosal and everything else. Now, what is this thing we're hearing that Trump's going to come up with this Pfizer, but it's not really a thing. It's going to be a therapeutic and it's going to innate the people, and the people want the vaccine.
What Trump has put is going to be rolling out will be only for the people that want it. And it was actually generated upstairs, and that's to help people clean out all the biotech and everything they've actually got in them already to just push it out. That's what that's for.
But has this
those of us that don't need it, us light workers, we don't need it, don't want it, but there's going to be a shitload of people out there that are going to demand something, and you don't want them taking the crap that Gates and them made. That's a chip that actually changes your body so much that your soul disconnects permanently.
Now, for the layman, how do you know the difference between a Gates vaccine and Trump's vaccine? And all the bad rap the vaccines have always gotten, how do you even know, regular people aren't even going to trust it anymore? Can you comment on that?
Nobody has to take any of it.
No, I know.
You get, the people who need medical help are going to be helped on one of the medical ships going to 4D anyway.
Okay.
So
Patty, then how does this happen that we've got like schools and children being taken out and just being vaccinated without the parents' permission? Like, what's this about? I mean,
where's that actually happening, though?
UK. The UK. We've got reports in. And also with the military on site there. So again, we've heard these. different schools. There's been parents reporting this, even on my Facebook feeds. So again, that it's a questioning thing here. So like I said, I don't think anyone, definitely ever needs a vaccine, but if you're saying they're jacked up. Now, there are people that have got special genetics, bloodlines, and almost like a built-in immunity, which is like a lot of the Rh positive. Like if I'm an AB positive and you're O positive, we've kind of built in Gaia's non-tampering stuff. So there's no point us taking anything.
Here's what I'm guessing with the ones that got pulled out and injected. They got injected so that they'll have the COVID markers.
Okay, so
Because they have to have, I mean, the fact that they don't have verified numbers on anything, that's probably what they're doing.
okay, so this is an I don't know thing, and this is where I come in.
I don't know, but that's probably what they're doing, because now they need numbers for their game.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing's beginning to be a game. And yeah, we were talking to, and Michelle's also quite well tapped in as well. And I thank Michelle for being here too. She's one of the coordinators for the United Kingdom as well. But the military is in the schools in Liverpool, and that's where I was getting some of it too here. Now, just switching into a little bit more of the hollow bed stuff like that.
When are we going to get med beds? I know there's currently like 45 of them here on the planet, and I don't even get access to one. So
neither do I yet. So it's even worse. We've known about these for like 10 years at least.
Decades.
Decades. So apparently we're on the short list right now. Anyway, Empress Jennifer's got a question here. What about Nicera's prosperity package info and time frame? So there's a difference between Nicera and there's the global one, which is like Illuminati anyway. It's just there. So do you want to talk a little bit about this and what that's trying to do?
Global monetary reset is there's still groups out there, especially the Chinese Golden Dragon group, who we're still trying to snap up. That's why this fake Jasara thing we did just 2 weeks ago with the bogus code. Matter of fact, we have the princess of the Draco who they went to get the bogus code, and of course it didn't work, and that was to get them to come out of the woodwork so we could go after them. The new one is actually going to be on the quantum internet, not on the actual web at all. So that's what I mean. This is but setting traps for them, really. That's and all your dead man accounts, like for instance, I know because I went and looked at mine. There's 16 stock certificates, each with 3.3 million each. In it, everybody's got these because Trump took in hand actually all the dead man certificates. As far as I know, to get everybody out of the whole debt system initially, you're going to get a card, a credit card type thing based on your dead man accounts with a limit that can be drawn on the card each month just to get the whole system turned over. There's new money, which are like silver and gold certificates rather than the cash we have now. They'll actually be fixed on hard, real assets. That's what the changeover is going to be. Because even if you go to the card system, which is going to be on the quantum web where nobody can actually tap into it or anything, you still need something in hand to facilitate the barter system.
Do you have an idea when that might happen?
The money's already printed.
Yeah. But I mean, when the public gets it.
Until we get these assholes from the IMF taken out, it's not going to happen. So that's the only thing holding the works up.
I see.
And most of that group that's left that's problematical is in China, which makes it twice as difficult.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. Okay, my computer, it works, it's just not the chat. So with the Nasara, is there a difference between like your universal basic income stuff and then an actual prosperity package? Because I had thought that the prosperity packages were things that was something that you had to apply for and make like a portfolio on how you like what you want to do to help humanity, and then how you would use the money. And then if you get approved, it goes into kind of like a trust fund black card or something. And then you have to use that money as it's been approved for, and then they monitor it. And so if you use it for something that hasn't been approved, then they actually will just, freeze the money and take it away from you. But I didn't know how that works with the different.
Who's been fronting this?
Well, it's just a mix of different things that I've been hearing. So I'm not clear on how NESARA is going to work as far as the financial freedom. So will everybody be getting like a universal basic income per month? Will we get a set amount? Will there be extra money for humanitarian work?
It basically works out to a basic amount based on your dead man account that was based on your birth certificate.
Okay, so what factors into that? Do they see like, okay, this person got so much money already from different things, or I don't understand.
Given what all I've done in my life, including going undercover basically and doing covert stuff for all these bad guys, corporations and everything, is why I have such a large stock portfolio, because I was worth a lot to them
That
while I was
doesn't-
undercover. So yeah.
Yeah.
So for like a
But
general,
everybody's got a pretty large one. I mean, because the stock certificate was issued right when your birth certificate was filled out when you were born. And they, drew money against that. And it went on the stock market and was traded and, everything else for, the entirety of your life.
so for just an average person that's like poor, I mean, how would that work? Like sometime next year, would we just get access to that money and spend it however we choose to spend it?
That's part of the whole thing. Yeah, you'll get a government issued credit card with a
Can't imagine
monthly
it, Patty.
withdrawal
Where is it
limit.
coming from?
Okay, so is that just automatic, or do we have to apply for that?
No, everybody's going to get that
Okay,
automatically.
so they just automatically will just like know where to send it to you.
They can
We know
find you
where
if you want.
everyone is on
So I
Every
this
just meant
planet.
like, will you have to actually go to like some place and like sign for it or something like that?
That's what you have to do.
No, it'll be announced.
Okay.
And then you'll probably have to go and, prove who you are and get your card.
Okay, so that's a lot more clarity than I got anywhere else. Is there a time frame approximate? Like, will it all happen with like a year
The
or?
time stream is in flux right now.
Yep.
Honestly, my days don't even have the same length anymore from one day to the next. And they don't like us giving any time dated crap anyway.
Yeah. Can you discuss a little bit when we talked about this? Okay, this might be an interim thing. And if you don't know, you can always look up your birth certificate. You can track it. Even people up in here in Canada, I did this like, 15 years ago when we were learning about some of this stuff. Is that basically you could check the Canadian one and go look where you were traded on the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. And then from
Or if
there,
you've got a if you got a social security card, flip it over the red number that's on the back.
yes, if you had
That's
a whatever it was, and then it would be in red, and then the rest you could track through the back too for the stock certificate. So I sent all their stuff back because it's not mine. But anyway, one of the things too is that we talked a little bit about some stuff coming up here, and you presented one video to me and 2 other stills that you put in your Patty's data group. And if you're not in either my Intel group or Patty's group or Andrew's Project INCENSION, we're all on Facebook still. But one of the things that you did, I just want to go through them in my head here so they're clear. And I don't know if we can put them up or if you're able to screen share or not at this time. One was the thermal imaging that you had shown us back about 6 days ago, almost a week ago. And these were the actual images of the DUMs that were basically under attack simultaneously
being
worldwide.
burned out. In other words, they've been cleared and been they're in the process of being burned out so that the bad guys can't reuse them. I was putting them up, but I have a limit on how much hotspot minutes I have each month, and I got to do this video and another one in a couple of days, and I'm almost out. So that's why I don't want to do a bunch of upload stuff.
Okay, is that
video.
something I can share on my screen share?
Yeah, you can do that.
I will do that. So I'm going to talk about that, and we've got that set up. And if you haven't been to Project Incenssion, go to Project Incenssion on YouTube and Rumble, and I think it's number 50, 51, where it talks about we're a live camera, and Patty can show you so you can actually see us when we're doing operations for that. Now, Sandy's got a question here, and it's something about how do you find on the back of the social insurance number if they lost their card? You'd
You
have
can
to
either
talk-
get a new card or wait till it happens, because
I'm waiting. I'm not going to the
that's just
contact
if you're really if you're like me and you got to get your nose in everything and see how much there is there. That's what I mean. I went and did it, went hunting for it myself. So
yeah, so these are some of the things that you can look at as well. The second one I want to talk about was the Magnetosphere and the magnetics that we're seeing. You talked about a new planet that rolled into the biosphere, a holy roller. And this planet, you told me, was not called, well, they're calling it on the SOHO, SOLO 0.
Sol, well,
Oh.
this is Sol system, so
Right.
it's Sol 0, because Earth is not originally from the system. So and with 13 plus planets, we'd be like number 14, I guess, because we're not original, even though we're in spot number 3.
We're not just the third rock from the
Eden
sun.
was put in
Okay.
dimensional quarantine a long time back during the Elven Aquilin War, but Eden is, it was originally called Apsu before it was given to Eve to make the Elven race on. Gaia is Eve's daughter. She has an island on Eden called Avalon,
Mhm.
and that's where her lab is, where she made first the 12 different tribes and then the 12 different clans. This planet was brought here at her behest. Her mother ordered it because Gaia is not a registered goddess creator here.
Right.
Her mother is. But Eve said she needed another auxiliary lab planet. Gaia found both this planet and the sun we currently have out there now, because that's not the original either. And when the Elven race were not ascending, moving towards ascension with the original sun, which was Saturn, she asked for that sun to be brought here. When they started it up, because they didn't know it was an artificial artifact sun, not a real sun, is when it created the Orion spur and woke up to the grays of what the hell was going on here, because they're at the end of this new spur. That's what caused the screw up.
Okay, so we're supposed to be like dancing in the street because Eden showed up. I think for my purposes,
Well,
I'm supposed to be.
because-
But what? How does it's significant to us here?
Back in 640 BC, when the 13th tribe mother made a deal with the first of the Tudor group to have their own little experiment in that one little area called Britain, and they broke every tenet of the treaty and everything, they wiped out a whole shitload of the tribes, clearing them out of there, among other things. So when everybody gets to 5D, of course, all the tribes have to be replaced. So I know she's putting on another batch of tribes. I don't know if she'll be doing any correctives, populations of clans. I would assume so, because I think a lot of those got wiped out too.
Okay, so you talked about 6 parallel Earths. We've got ET's benevolence up there. We got hospital biospheres. This is also.
No, they're not parallel Earths. They're actually Earths that are only going to be around long enough to have their freaking brand of catastrophe. I think, except for one, because I think all the bad guys are going to get set on there, and that one's going to be empty. And maybe they'll give them a hammer, but they they're going to have to do for themselves because, and I think they're going to push that way back in time. Back into the middle of the mess and let them get a dose of karma.
So those of us that have been really nice and everything else and earned our wings, where are we going? I mean, do we have to like think about this? Do you want us to create this, or we're going to go talk with Gaia and then move on? How does this happen? Because people are asking in the chat room, are we going to see our loved ones? How's this going to happen? Are we being reunited with them and moving on? And again, they're referring to some talks done by, which of course, you know, Yellow Rose for Texas and Og Tellez. So they're saying that we're about to exit this constructor matrix. And so where are we
People
going?
are
And if it
not
is, what's
about
the
to.
point of it?
People not about to. People already are being pulled.
Yeah.
That's been going on for a couple of months now. So.
And if this is the case, then what the hell is the point of having Sarah here? If we're all, this is going to be done, wrapped up within 6 to 12 months here.
It's
period.
part of it's.
The
As far
learning?
as I know, everybody's supposed to be off of here by September of September 21st of next year.
Yeah.
As far as, unless things change, that's the last I heard.
Sandy's got
And
a
I've been
great,
closing out all my operations and everything, getting ready to go, because currently I probably won't even be seeing you guys when you get there, because the Palladians went up. I went up and looked at 5D. The Palladians already created. They're not as good as my enclaves and stuff, but I mean, the housing and everything issue is already taken care of up there. Unless they want me to go to 4D and start training people how to do them, which I haven't heard. So I'll just be going home.
I'm on that ship too with the children. Sandy Glaze, who's amazing. If you haven't seen or researched Sandy Glaze, she's one of our beacons of hope here up in Canada and Ontario too. And so shout out to Sandy. She's also been a co-host and speaker on the Bases Project, as Patty and I have been as well for years. Now, she's got an excellent theme, because her, near and dear to her heart too, is the education system is promoting this pedophilia. Is it, Sandy's question, is there going to be a crossover period where the dark will no longer be able to push around this evil that we're seeing, and the Trudeau agenda? And that brings us to what the hell's happening in Canada.
All of us light workers who are down here on the surface doing stuff have become too emotionally attached to the issues here. So they don't judge. The non-corporeals running the show upstairs don't believe we can give a valid, coherent, non-emotional attached statement with regards to how things are going here. So a couple of months ago, the Sun Gate was open almost all day long with thousands and thousands of ships pouring through it from all systems throughout all of Laniakea.
Mhm.
These are all diplomats who are now doing standing watch on all of these assholes and everything they're doing because they're not emotionally connected to the issues. So they're going to be standing in judgment, basically, with all those folks giving, effectively non-planetary legal statements with regards to their crimes. So
and as I know it to be as well, with the Council 12 and the Andromeda Council, Antarians, Octarians, that kind of thing, all of us, intergalactics and stuff too on these councils, is that, and people need to realize that Donald Trump is not a human per se. He's part of the galactic group here.
His family's been on this planet for a couple of generations now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not human. So
What is he?
Antarian.
So with that too, and I know with our stuff too, with the Octarian stuff and all that sort
Not
of
Arcturian, Antarian, which is another group.
stuff. No, I said my connections to the,
Yeah,
to the,
I know. If you go,
And
people should go
our-
to Tanas's link on the web, the Civil Legion and all that, and get a look at who's on the Council of 12 and who's on the Council of 5. And, so because there's so much back data just to have a clue on who's the good guys and who's the bad guys.
you need the scores team for our ball teams, right? We're there. Now, one of the things too, in talking with someone in the Andromeda Council, they said they had two biospheres that can take thousands and thousands, millions of people as well too.
We have over
And-
360 planet ships out there on our side. So
And it's Tanath.
Yeah.
Silver Legion, you can look that up, or Andromeda Council. There's more than enough out there. So yeah, that's like the big ant people. He's an ant. There's Antarian, Altarian, Aldebaran, and Arctarian. So we all sound similar, but ours is like Noah's Ark, the Ark of the Covenant, and theirs is like the ant people. Now, one of the things, because I know we're going to be wrapping up here, what is it you'd like us to know right now? I know we need to stay up. We
if you
need to
don't know
stay.
what Laniakea is, go to that link. I'm
Okay.
looking for the link where they can go to.
Well, I think most people here are on Facebook. They can get into Pattie's data group. You just put a whole bunch up there and you put them on your Pattie Brassard Facebook, and I have them for sure. And if not, they can get a hold of you privately. If anyone would like to have a consult with you one-to-one, is that a possibility, Pattie? And how does that happen to talk to you? And what's your contact?
On my cell phone Skype. That's
Skype.
because
Okay.
yeah, Skype on my cell phone, not the computer one.
Right. So you need to get a Skype, be Skypeable. Okay. And what should people be doing right now? Besides, we always say raise your frequency, meditate, and like go into that, but I'll go into a little bit more in depth in that. But what would you like to see people doing right now? How can they assist you? It's by assisting themselves, right?
Well, I do take donations, but basically work on yourself. And try not to let everything that's going on around you out there in the world screw with your personal frequency. Please.
So the whole thing too, and this has become part of the thing too, is this Pattie's trying to do this. Pattie's background is also as a tribal shaman, and she also is a representative of the Mikmac indigenous, and her bloodlines are RZO positive that go back millions of years before the Mayans. So this is
I got
a hard thing
portal
you said.
a portal in my heart and double pineal glands, and yeah,
Right.
I'm unusual, so
Yeah,
I
and
don't really need no help. I'm the big hammer when other light workers need help.
Yeah, so twin spirit and stuff like that, and going into the original androgynous hermaphrodite and stuff. So you've got very special genes that most of us only hope to attain one day, and I can affirm that and attest to that. So one of the things here too is that lineage, Pattie in talking to her is like, who needs Google, because she built NASA's computer system. It's like building Google anyway till 1997. So one of the things too is the strands of DNA that can be activated still. If you haven't gotten your Solmac or Nushador, you can get a hold of us or get a hold of me, because I still have the connections to it. They're almost sold out everywhere. But Nushador is on eBay. If not, I'll try and find you another herbal source. And again, this lineage
I have asked upstairs if everybody that needs medical attention is going to get their DNA automatically sorted out, and I can't get a straight answer from anybody. So,
well, I'm straightening it up here. So my regen bed is my amethyst bed. My oils are raising the frequency. The alkalinity is great, thanks to Dr. Robert O. Young at the pH Miracle. And the other thing too is using the Genius, which is reset the electrical magnetic field, and that is just speeded up ours warp speed. So if people have got problems with Lyme's, headaches, ascension issues, they can get a hold of me privately at klanmother13@gmail.com. Now, one of the other questions here, just before we leave too, is that what are the steps to track your birth certificate trading again? And as I said, it was to go look on the US, look at the back of the birth certificate, right? And you've got two, there's a long form and a short one, but there's a letter there. Mine the ones that I used to see used to be actually in red up in Canada. And they would be A, B, C.
Yeah, they're red.
Yeah.
They're in red here too.
Okay.
There and on the back side of your Social Security card.
Yeah, and we could plug that into the U.S. Security and Exchange Commissions and start looking what stock they had. Now, again, I don't have one. I didn't make one, so they got their stuff back. But that was one way to do it. And then you could go through there and see how you've been traded, like, on the stock exchange, like cattle, and they've been trying to, take this money. That's been part of the thing, is people were always trying to collect on it bogusly too, and two wrongs don't make a right. But okay,
from Nick to everybody, I've been down here in this battle a number of times. However, to my personal timeline, I've been around for a bit over 2 billion years. But this Earth has been to this graduation date, which was September 2013, plus 500 years once before. So, and Gaia didn't want them pulling Earth into a black sun to make it a living battery to keep phantom timelines alive. So she wound back time, and this is actually Rev 2. That's a long, the full answer to that is very, very long. But they call this the fifth world of this Rev of Earth, because everything's been trashed completely when it came around to this transition across the front side of the Milky Way above the galactic plane. We're going into time number 5 of this run through of Earth. So that's why they call it the fifth world.
Okay,
Normally they called a worldwide catastrophe to beat everybody back down to the Stone Age during this time so that they can't evolve and take over. Not working this time, is it?
Nope.
Okay, I've got a question here too about doing animus infrared and detoxify. I am really big. I've got an infrared mat and amethyst crystal, but yes, infrared. And I'm really big on men. Yes, you men. I'm looking at you guys, Wade and Andrew and the rest of you, is what we call a lingam or a resume. And that is a pelvic floor steam. So as I'm telling women to get their vaginas and everything, it's actually a pelvic floor. It's a 7 chakra steam. You're aligning all 12 meridians at the same time. Okay, so if you want, you can look at Red Tent Wellness. You can look at steamychick.com. And you can look at my Facebook. I think I'm the only one that's ever made a male version. So if you really want to know, I think I'm the only one on the planet that's ever done a male protocol and an actual album for the guys and done stuff there. So again, it's for men, women, and children and pets. So it is pediatric friendly. So again, very simple to do. Getting alkaline, as Dr. Robert O. Young said, you need to get your litmus paper and you need to get it into that purple between 7.4 to 8. If your morning urine does not turn this thing absolutely like great purple, you're in trouble. So people do that, and using aromatherapy, using whatever you've got, get rid of the junk food. David Wolf is actually doing a detox, and you don't have to pay him $99 because I have his pamphlet. So if you want him free, I got lots of stuff when I ran my center. And activated charcoal, if you can, I just find that's the tickety-boo thing. And for women, if they need, they can make yoni or vaginal pearls. And for men and women, we're using aromatherapy suppositories. You need to stay grounded. You
Karen,
need
your
to stay
video
up
went
there.
off.
Huh?
Your video went off.
That's all right.
Okay, it's off right now. Okay, it's the way it goes. It's okay. I got up today and it was on ball by itself without my computer. So they've been remoting it all day anyway. That's the way it is. I can't show you. So anyway, that's what I want to really get into is looking at spring water. And that's the question. And the thing is, I know I'm pixelating, Sandy. I keep disappearing off the planet here. I feel like I'm just vibrating. Alkaline water is you can use a little bit of baking soda to alkalize it. Lemon's not usually enough to do that, or even apple cider vinegar. Not that it's a bad thing. But again, it's not about having alkaline water. It's about you being alkaline. And so, like I said, you can go to find a spring doc. So if you want, you can get a hold of me. Is there anything else we need to cover here at this time? Michelle, you're in here. I just want to acknowledge you. Kim, Jennifer, Wade's in here. Anwar, Sandy, Amanda, Susan, Edward, anyone, Vincent, Nick, Jelly, like so that's D. David, you're in here too.
Anybody, yeah.
Tree, Papa
Anybody's
Bear.
got questions, go ahead and ask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got about another 6-7 minutes here just to wrap up. So we went.
We can go a little over. We can go a little over if they got questions.
Well,
Can I ask a question, please?
Okay.
Sorry, Patty.
Go for
We've
it.
had some bomb threats here in the UK at schools between Liverpool and Manchester. We never have bomb threats ever. Do you know anything about it? What's going on?
That's, cabal fear tactics. They want as much fear and panic right now. They don't want you having a high frequency. Like I said, we don't have to wait for the incoming energy as we move around to the front of the Milky Way to break the limiter that is the human resonance. Humans collectively could break it and go that way, push for the ascension process ahead of time. That's the only thing holding us really is I mean, we light workers have pushed things so hard intermittently. At times we've turned Earth indigo from space, but that's not enough to break it. And we don't have enough people in on the program.
All right, because I watched Kirsten W. and she was showing that they found adrenochrome factories in Liverpool and in Manchester. So I just wondered if what was going on, if they'd found tunnels or something.
Well, that's the point of scaring the shit out of kids, because then they can be harvested for adrenochrome. And yeah, I know about Sears, and it's spelled with a C, not an S. And that's the original core of the original Tiamat. But I mean, I brought a replacement Tiamat and all 11 moons in before I got rid of all the phantom timelines and parked it back where it belongs and moved Mars in. I got some of the old gods to help kickstart its core, get its electromagnetic shield back up, and gave it a moon called Eris. And Venus, I brought it back out into the Goldilocks zone, flipped it right side up, reconnected electromagnetically to the sun, and gave it a moon called Sedna. So it's
Right.
doing good too.
Yeah, I just wondered because I know that because Jean's coordinator Jim said that they've done about 48% of the UK cleared out the DUMS. So
yeah, Sears is the original core from the Tiamat that they blew up. That's what made our asteroid belt. But Sears is actually the main base for the Fourth Reich.
Right.
And that's a major cloning center.
What, here in the UK?
No, Ceres is the original core of Tiamat that's out in orbit between Mars and Mars and Jupiter.
Sorry. Yeah, okay.
Can I just add into that?
I'm learning.
Can I add into that for you, Michelle, too? We went through that
Yeah, I
here
could
in
give you
Saskatoon about
pictures.
3-4 years ago. And they had bomb threats in several of the schools, okay? And then there was a
it's so
fake
weird.
one.
We literally never ever have earthquakes, and obviously we're getting a few.
Yeah.
And we
this
never
was-
have bomb threats.
This was the ability to lock down the
Earthquakes, the
schools.
DUMS.
Yeah.
The earthquakes are us hitting the DUMS underground.
Yeah,
And
I
if you
know
look at
that,
the
yeah.
earthquake, most of them, they'll be right around the 10-mile deep.
Yeah, Yeah, I know
Those
that.
DUMS.
yeah.
No, one of the things they did too, they did a bomb scare actually 2 hours right after I'd gone by the courthouse. But anyway, not that that's whatever, that's another story. But anyway, what they were doing is they were using these as false flags, because also when they were supposedly putting warrants out and for, these kind of things that might be dangerous, they locked down like miles. I mean, what to put a warrant. So this again is more false flagging in there and stuff too. And one of the things too,
Don't worry about the Draco.
it's their stuff to do.
Whereas we have the de facto new princess of the Dracos under house arrest in Texas. We fixed it so she can't change her form and go outside. We are allowing the fully half human, half Draco types who are capable. They have a soul and they're capable of ascension to stay. All the rest of the bad Dracos, we've already got rid of them, including blowing up their ships out in space. So.
Wow.
No, 107 had said, which of course is really another guy now I find, Wade, whatever, Russell thing. But anyway, when we look, or Wayne, when we're looking at stuff, let's say like the adrenochrome, and that's something that when you and I talked to Jean starting back a year and a half ago, is that the COVID-17 or whatever was really the tagging of the adrenochrome. So to track these people, just like the ballots had the watermark to track a lot of them. And so when people have their blood things, people aren't able to really per se switch blood. I know Sandy's got a question there about blood transfusions. It's happened very rarely, and that's only when you've done actually a complete, like a liver transplant or something like liver failure. So people don't just flip blood types, from AB positive to negative here. It's only happened very rarely, just a few times every document, as far as I'm aware. When I, did that. And Pattie's done an excellent thing at Project INCENSION on genetics. Who are we? All to do with the RH blood, positive, negative, the Draco, the splicing, the hybridization, the transgenderization, mixing with the Fae and other, Draco races and stuff.
No, Anchar are actually a separate species built by the folks from Jupiter a long time ago. They can only survive by feeding off a human loosh.
Hmm.
That's why they set up all these bases on the junctions of the ley lines. The ley lines, rather than humans being able to draw from them to manifest, your energy is going the other way to feed these assholes. I don't know what's going to be done with them when we leave. I guess they'll feed off the rest of the bad guys. As far as the inner Earth folks are staying the flat Earth, which is a half-dimensional step out, and they're flat Earth. That's a whole nother group, and we have another whole thing in process that we're going to deal with them, because they do have a dome over, and they could be standing right beside you, but mentally they're right there, down in there. So if you saw a spaceship in the sky and could record it with your cell phone, and an inner Earth, flat Earth type person was standing right beside you, they would not see it, because they're not looking at the actual sky out here. They're looking at their dome down in there. It's an
So when you
exact
say they're
mirror.
mentally out,
in
are you
there.
saying they're actually a clone? Or how do you
No,
mean mentally?
no.
That's what,
Dimensionally, all their sensory apparatus in their body, because they've been, well programmed enough to make the shift. Mentally, what they're seeing is down in there, not out here. There's a whole nother op that's going to deal with them. Right now, anytime we catch spies in our cleanup ops, we actually toss them in there currently. Because that's a bad guy thing. That whole thing was set up by the CIA and the Anunnaki. So, and it's a halfway stepping place where you had to go there first to go to the phantom timelines, because molecular spin works going both ways there without having a matter, antimatter, destructive event by touching one another. The rules of reality are different there. Currently out there, we've got a second Mars parked beside Mars. They're evacuating all the enslaved humanity off of Mars to a second one, because we don't have time right now with everything else that's going on to run them all through a medical bioship. So they're basically just getting them out of their slave situation and onto a safe Mars. Yeah, Eden popping back out. That's Gaia fixing to push out some replacements via portal.
Have they?
Yeah, it's a busy time, and the battle's still going on upstairs.
Do you know if they have
Dude.
rescued all the children from their underground bases and stuff like that, or is that still going on? Or
Yeah, that's what's taking up all the medical ships right now, because we don't have the facilities up here to care for them, so they have to, be beamed right off. Plus, there's pressure issues, and I mean some of these are horrendous issues, and that's where most of the med beds are being used. If you can get a good non-corrupted DNA, you can mostly restore them. Of course, they've been tortured and everything, so their third auric field, which is their shield, that's gone because of everything they've done to them. That can't be repaired other than reincarnation.
what do they have to do for the guys, the people, the men and women that are rescuing them? I mean, that's got to be something so horrific to witness.
Yeah, it is. It is. I know, because I've gone and looked myself. You don't want to see that.
No.
You really don't. Everybody's, thinks they want to see it until they, see it. They don't want to see it.
Right.
And I promise not to show anybody, because I've actually got pictures. So, no.
Yeah, I couldn't handle that.
so Wade's got a great question, because, everyone's kind of gone through it. The States went through it. Australia had theirs. Venezuela had their stuff. And now the UK, and now they're coming up here to Canada. So Wade's question, what can we do to prepare, or what can we do for these lockdown measures? Because I know most of my friends, Brent, Wintry, and Ham, and
I ignore them.
Well, my friends are getting thrown into jail and with $3,000 fines. So, like I said, they're just for coming out of their house, they've been fined. And now in the Walmarts, they've been being followed. And now they've got these COVID tracking vans apparently in Flin Flon. So, again, like I said, this is my group that's getting fined like $2,800 just for walking in a mall now. So one of the things I suggested was to talk to the, rather than going to fight right away, first of all, go talk to the Crown Prosecutor and see what it takes to get the thing dropped. Otherwise, we will come after them. So, I mean, I know.
Yeah, see, down here, we already filed paperwork and prosecuted the hell out of all of these assholes. So that we're just waiting for them to get picked up at this point. The sooner you start the prosecution against them, bear in mind, most places it takes 30 days for that paperwork to go through. We've done that a long time ago. You know, so at this point, we're just waiting for the marshals to come and grab them.
So
We don't really care what they put out, and we just ignore them.
Well, I've done that too, but then I know how
As
to
far
do that.
as Venus,
Yeah.
no. Venus thanked me very much, and the other folks who were working with me for the assistance and getting them sorted out. And they said, "Thank you, goodbye. Please don't come back here."
Now, one of the things we've had, I've done the show with Gene Decoder and a few other people, Ryan, to do with the Genius, but also we did a whole thing on to do with I did several shows to do with the legal and law aspect of dealing with these guys with Judge Alfred Weber, because he set up peaceinspace.org, and peaceinspace.org had some templates. I didn't find them palatable, we'll just say, and maybe not right across the board. Now, one of the things too is that Rocco, who's also was doing based on the vaccine court proceedings, they've been spinning their wheels. As Sandy and I know, and Wade knows, and everyone up here in Canada knows, they've been spinning. They haven't been able to get anything launched. And so, I mean, this has been part of the issue here. Now, I've been okay with some of that too. So in here too, and I know, you know, like I said, we've got people that are not feeling well. You guys have started remagnetizing some of your 5G towers. We haven't up here. I know I'm sitting 3 blocks from one again. But I mean, we need
does
to
have a team going around converting all the 5G towers to healing frequency energies.
Yeah.
Nick, as far as all the solar warden ships, they are all under Trump's Space Command group now, as well as and growing every day are the corporate ships, which are actually the ones that are worth having. Solar Warden's got really ineffectual shit.
Now, one of the things as well here, I suggest with people, because we haven't been able to, I've put in and I've launched international documents, not only in Saskatoon, but internationally, to stop the 5G. And we started that like years ago. But the thing is, the interim is to get a 5G, like a smart meter shield. You can make one yourself for $5. It's pretty simple at Dollarama. Otherwise, you can order a 5G one. And that's exactly why I'm sitting below here, ground in the basement here. So you're not getting hit as much, and keeping your frequencies up. That's what I need the Genius for, is because, you know, with all the Wi-Fi coming in radiation, I need an electrical magnetic Rife scalar thing that operates to deflect it. Some of the things too, I know some people have asked about Fema Camps. We have them all up here. Like I know all along the Saskatchewan border, and I mean, we have just an array of them up in Canada as well as you do in the States, as does everywhere. But I know some of the stuff too is there were border crossings you and I looked at that were brought up by Rebel News and Rogue News. And they've been transporting refugees here with the RCMP and being using for adrenochrome and loose harvesting centers here. And so these particular FEMA camps and quarantine camps, some of them were actually done by the Métis because their reserves are so toxic. So they had set up some separatory things. So they're not necessarily a FEMA camp necessarily. But there are FEMA camps that we do have. But like I said, you've got how many military bases and everything else we have around here in Saskatoon. And that's also with illegal alien that I know that you've been taking out around here for some time. So what else can we do? We can, you know, like I said, we can, some people are putting chalkboard magnetic paint around. They are putting canopies around, which are really damn expensive. I mean, a lot of these answers that people are looking at, though, are like, you know, $900 to $1,600 to put a canopy around you. You know, some people are doing tinfoil, you know, getting the grounding and stuff. Anything else, Patty?
The foreclosure things. Understand, the minute you put your signature on that debt, it was paid off.
Right.
And we've been fighting that here. But bear in mind, I'm living in an RV, not even an RV park. So part of the whole thing going to 4 and 5D applies even to us folks who are just going back upstairs. people's, attachment to things and possessions, and that shit's got to go away. But we've been pushing for more than 10, 12 years now for people to get independent on their food production and growth in their own environment and things of that nature to prep for this, because we've been telling them for a long time that the shit was coming and nobody wanted to listen. So
On the debts, on the mortgages and car loans and utility bills, like you said, all those are paid in advance. So all those companies are double and triple dipping on all of us. Just in case anybody doesn't know that.
what's the correlation between Lord of the Rings? They just happen to have a site that's beautiful enough to work as a good set. That's all. As far as I know, there isn't any special entrances there. There's some in the islands off of Scotland, up in the North Atlantic, that go down to the whole of Amenti and all that, but not down in New Zealand. There are some stuff out off the shore south of Australia that actually have tunnels that go to the base under Antarctica, but there's a bunch of tunneling and bases under New Zealand.
Do you think there's a time coming where the ships, the good guys, will be able to decloak above us daily? Or is that far in the future?
There's not going to be any ET landings. If you get taken by the good guys, it'll be, you'll just be portaled off. If ships land, don't go run to go inside them, please. That's probably bad guys. Unless we change that. As far as I know, at one point they were going to do mass landings all over in rural places and come out and say hello, but nobody was going to be doing that to take anybody aboard ship. Mallet mass explosion, no. The big chunk of rock that hit the Gulf of Mexico and closed the caldera there was. There's some issues that changed because our moon was originally called Kingu. It was the largest moon around the original Tiamat, and it was used as a life raft driven here and parked in orbit by the folks from Tiamat. That's the big red-haired giants they find in these stasis chambers under the ground in groups of like 6. And those were all actually set to open and revive them on the original graduation date, which was September 21st, 2013. Everybody keeps going by the Mayan calendar, and they keep forgetting that Mayans had year 0.
Yeah.
So it wasn't 2012, it was 2013. 2012 was the last year you could use a looking glass as we hit the galactic plate, and they couldn't restart them until 2014 because the flux could destroy not only Earth, but whole solar system coming through those things. And now they can't go back prior to 2014 with them. And we've locked down to timeline 0 now. So if they use those things and go to another timeline and make changes, the changes don't happen here. So they're useless. No, I told already, Susan, no, when we fix Venus up, they thanked us for the help and everything. They let us get our gold and the rest of the bad guys that were imprisoned on it off of there and said, thank you very much. Goodbye. Please don't come back. So, no. And we have the abilities to create entire other planets, manifest them, so we don't need to be going grabbing other planets at all.
So one thing Susan was just saying, the question was, is Venus going to be our new 4D Earth? And Aurora 5D. And she also mentioned just at the tail end there that Gene, I guess Gene S, decoder, from the Navy mentioned the Rapture is currently in 2035. But as you're saying, this is all wrapped up by September, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It may be in 2035 once they get moved to their new planet. I have no idea. I'm not even going to bother to try and track everybody's datelines for their catastrophe on where they choose to go. It's just good luck.
Okay. I want to just thank, also acknowledge Patricia's here too, and Brienne's there too. So we got a huge, yeah, wave you guys, all the upper white north here. You can all wave.
I mean, one of the
And-
earths that we recreated was actually, we gave the Jinn, who were guarding our underground gold vaults and all that, their own earth. And Shiva and a bunch of others, actually, we helped us just move them all off. So there are no more Jinn on earth.
One of the things also people had mentioned about raising the vibration and stuff too. I know I was just dealing with Dean Mercer and stuff, who's the Patriot Paracellum, I hear. But as a lot of people know too, we've got several therapists in here. Sandy's one. All of us, Brianna and we've been Billy? We've been doing not only skill, but Genius. She's also a colleague of mine doing Genius as well. So we've got a lot of excellent people in here that are, you can turn to even just on this page, that are therapists in their own right here too. And Sandy's
Edward.
amazing too for emotional and trauma, and she's great. Sandy, if you want to put and if you guys want to put any of your emails or contacts in the chat room, that's okay with me.
As far as Edward, your question, I burned the soles off of 2 pairs of sneakers in a row, trying to prevent any changes from going on here and keeping this biosphere habitable for the duration of this end process of this little play we're playing out here. So no, we've got a bunch of ships helping, including slowing down and spinning the upper plate of the United States, so the Juan Fuca goes under it nice and smoothly with just little earthquakes and no tsunamis and things of that nature. Aside from what Cabal still has as far as weaponized weather control, we're trying to shut that down too. But aside from that, no.
Are any or all of the CERNs still up and running or no?
No. And nothing NASA put out is valid. No, hasn't been for a long time.
Are they?
They're the biggest fraud out there.
Yeah.
And I know because I built their system.
Are they?
One of the-
Go ahead, Karen.
Oh, I was just going to say for those people, Greg Prescott and his fiance also, he's in Florida, and his fiance is over there in the UK, and Allison James. And so on Saturday, we're going to be taping with them. And if you're not aware of In 5D, they've got a huge contingency. There's like his email list alone is over 100,000 people. So they've also got a Facebook group, and they also have a YouTube channel. And Patty and I are going to be guests on there coming up this week. So on Saturday, we'll be doing taping. So, and I think, Andrew, what we've also talked is maybe doing like a weekly show again or something, like a catch-up thing.
Yeah.
And also looking, if those of you, anyone that knows how you can do that, or I'll get Greg to, is to assist Andrew, because what we'd like to do is get this so that we're running a simultaneously feed also on YouTube or something, so that people can be chatting and we can go to a much larger audience than just, those that are in the room right now, because it allows us to have that room, which we can triple easily for attendance and still run that, because we have thousands of people in all of our, tens of thousands of people in all our feed lines. So in there.
Everybody's been begging me to do another video because I haven't done them for so long.
Well, I was working
And
today.
you do 3. I want to give people, if you haven't done, and I know I gave them to Michelle and her group, because I'm also in, and thank you for the invitation to Michelle's UK group there too now. She's got hundreds of women in there and men. So I just jumped in there. But Patty did 3 in the last couple of years. One with Alfred Weber, It News Inside Out. She also did one with Terry Joyce. She's also done with Romola D reports. And the other one you did was Galactic Goddess TV. Those are the 3 if you haven't seen them. They're amazing, but those are the most recent in the last 2 years that are outside of Project Ascension. If you need
And
to
somebody
catch
asked
up.
me about Arcolez. Yeah, about 4 years ago. I did a 9.5 hour video with him. It's on YouTube.
Recorded,
him and I
it's actually
talking.
11. We slept through some of it. But yeah, we did there. Ogtalez was another one that we had done as well there. There's a few other ones, but And Pyramid 1, also, I'm going to do that. I'll be doing Pyramid 1 next week. And we've also done some with a joint project Incenssion and Pyramid 1 as well. So
I've done some with Midnight in the Midlands, but I don't know where they are. And that's what I mean. They actually, you got to pay to actually access their archive. So
yeah,
it was only free to watch for a week.
Yeah. So these are some different things. And again, a lot of stuff is coming out, but these were some of the original things. And I think it's really important for people to know, as we're talking about, all these things going to the UK and what happened, oh, they just arrested all the, MPs and everything. And I went, yeah, right. I haven't seen it yet. Buckingham maybe boarded up, but what's also happening here is as people are doing, we have to realize there's a difference. Natural law, like as Patty talks about, is tribal and clan law, and laws of the land are very different than obviously your maritime admiralty, which is why I run around Saskatoon and the police just look at this and enjoy my new set of plates. So again, they have to understand what's going on here. So this is something that,
when you get to 5D, it's going back to the 13, the 12 tribes, the 12 clans with the 13th tribe mother, 13th clan mother. They're going to be ruling the planet the way it was. That's, there's on the sunken continent of Mu in the Pacific, there's actually the statues down there of all 26 of the original women with a gold belt linking them all at the waist in a circle. That's still there. That's what we're going back to.
Are you telling me I'm sunk? No, just joking.
Patty, can you tell us the reason specifically Trump was brought in and how long he's going to be in there specifically? I mean, he wasn't just elected just randomly.
No, he was asked by the folks upstairs to do this.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
They're telling me no.
Okay.
Okay.
I would, but they said
Yeah, I
just
know.
said no.
I know. Yeah.
And
Because there's tactical stuff involved there that,
Yeah.
there's a good chance that the enemy forces are going to see this and they don't want me talking about it.
Okay.
Okay, so one of the things, just to make clear, so that you guys are clear, we don't get on the air on very high shows, Patty and I, unless we show our background, our credentials, and everything. So Patty has shown numerous times her Freedom Team, her congratulations and thank you by the generals,
My NASA badge,
all
that,
and her Trump advisory team stuff I have. So these are not up in question, just like my nursing background, my quantum background, my integrative and stuff. It's not for discussion here. We are who we are, because
any big meeting I try to do on the web, they have major problems, including losing their servers and all kinds of things when they try to talk to me.
So Patty,
they hate me.
Sandy's got a question, and maybe just we can look at maybe wrapping up here, because I am trying to preserve your data because you're on a limited data right now, and we do have that show to do, a big one, so in 5D in a week. So the arrests are happening all the time, Wade, and I think Patty can attest. There was 4 flights going to Gitmo the other day, and as Michael Jaco on Michael Jaco,
there was 10, but there was really one key one the other day that actually came from overseas. So they actually grabbed somebody, one of the leadership types from over there the other day, and deposited them at Gitmo. So another key player over there got grabbed yesterday.
And as Michael Jaco was talking about, and I really recommend, I still think he's got some half decent stuff coming in or feeding. What's happening is that they're using them in other countries. So he talks about taking them down, whether it's Costa Rica, Ecuador, they got bases everywhere. He says they're not all going to Gitmo. He says we got setups. He says we got setups in the States. So don't assume that, it's going to be a thing. But he was also showing some of the tracking of the planes and which ones were going where into which base. So he tackled that in the last couple of days. So Sandy, just to wrap up on and I'm going to wrap up on a really nice kind of relaxed meditation sort of thing, and do that. Patty, can you just focus a little bit on what Sandy's asking here? Is the human energy system, specifically hormones, chakras, meridians, and the correlation to our universe, please?
Energy systems are tapping what they call dark energy or quantum energy. Your body is held together using quantum energy. You can, there's tons of systems out there, including quantum energy tapping, magnetized target fusion, which is a design I've done up. All of your replicators, which I made the deal for, everybody will be getting those. That's your power system. It's your a replicator for food and clothes and all that, as well as a communication system, which will be coming with a cell phone-like device that's not a cell phone. It's actually quantum level linked. So, you have one and you can use it anywhere in all of Lanaakea. You don't need cell phone towers or any of the rest. That stuff's all going away.
Okay, and just one more. Nick's saying, and Jennifer, are the bank debts going to be forgiven under SARE as well as that for everyone this spring?
See, these questions come from the basic fact that people don't understand. They have no debt.
That's right.
Period.
Yeah. Sovereigns don't have any debt. They've been, stealing off you for a long time.
The debt is all the corporations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and because the Corporation of the United States, the Corporation of Britain, all of these major corporations were filed Chapter 7 years ago. Not only is all that debt wiped out, is they're actually not allowed to actually take anything of value from you at all for any reason.
Yeah.
It's actually against the law.
Mhm.
It's against their corporate law. We actually hung them with their own rule book.
And I think that's really important to know that the United States Incorporated filed for bankruptcy November the 5th in 2015, and it just shut and closed that bankruptcy chapter only a couple of weeks ago, this November the 5th, right after the election. So everything's done with that timing, right?
Any corporation that was under that corporation is now null and void.
Correct.
Period. They can't collect anything from you. If they do, they're actually committing a felony.
Fraud.
So in closing, I think we're okay. Is everyone okay to wrap up here shortly in a minute? Okay, I'm getting some nods. Okay, what I'd like to do, if you've got a glass of water just in front of you, I'm going to send out some frequencies that are specific to us, of course. So just want you to have some nice, relaxing. Michael Jacka's got his bowls. Everyone's got something. I've got this genius biofeedback. So these are just there. So if we could just take 30 seconds and just relax and just meditate and just visualize where we're going to be going back home into the creator and stuff, and where that peaceful spot is for you and your loved ones. So let's just feel that. And if you've got that water, just hold it between your hands or your headphones, because it's going to start imprinting. That's what I'm doing here. I'm teaching new medicine. You can see actually through the tablet right now. Those people that haven't seen stuff, this is a tablet and you're seeing through it. Okay, so these are throwing out different electrical magnetic frequencies and scalar waves. So they can actually be very, very protective. So again, take some nice deep breaths in and out. Focus on the breath. Nice deep breath in and out. Find your favorite essential oil and marinate yourself silly, guys. Thank you for joining me. I'm Karen Ann Lucyk MacDonald, and everyone open your mic and say your name one by one before we leave, if you like.
Michelle Tyler Paris, UK.
Patricia White in so-called British Columbia, so-called Canada. Shawette McNation.
Kim Heidinger, Vancouver, British Columbia.
A lot of Canucks. Sandy Glaze, Ontario, Canada. A lot of Canucks here today, it seems.
Jennifer Dow,
Ria
Ontario,
Rathwell.
Canada.
Sorry. Ria Rathwell, Okanagan, BC.
Yeah.
Edward Geiger from Minnesota, US. Thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome.
Maureen Shensney, I'm Karen's neighbor in Saskatoon. Well, not that close, but we're up here in Canada.
Another therapist.
Wade Friesen, Saskatoon, Canada.
Hey, Wade. Yay, Dad's nutrition.
There you go. Dad's
Put us
nutrition.
together.
Nick from North Dakota.
Thank you, Nick.
I'm
Anyone else?
Susan from Aotearoa, New Zealand.
Right on. Got some kiwis. Yeah, oh yeah, Patty and I did Vinnie Eastwood way back when. We've been down in the Kiwi thing. Wow, thank you guys so much. And of course, Patty Brassard and Andrew.
Yep.
Mallet, thank you again. So I'm thinking I want to do this maybe on a weekly thing too. As Facebook's in there, and we'll see about getting a rolling thing. But
Yeah, we'll look at
thank
it.
you so much for being here.
Thank you
And
for hosting this.
oh, you're
Tell all
welcome.
your friends. Tell all your friends.
Yeah, all of them. We're on YouTube, Rumble, Parlor, Facebook, we go.
Yeah, Patty's data group is where I put a lot of, screen capture stuff.
Yeah, amazing stuff on there.
Yeah, no, it's great to be back. So it's been about 3-4 years so since we've gotten our groups back together, but it's really timely to get this out. And I think it's going to be a fun ride. So
And I've only gone through 3 Facebook accounts since then.
we've gone through 6. Okay, we'll see you guys later. We'll be in touch, and we'll try and get that on. And if you can put out the Project Incenssion actual video, like the YouTube subscription, if you guys can subscribe and get that going, because we need people with the background, because they're going to keep asking and asking, and everything's in there, plus those extra ones I gave you guys too, if you need.
Yeah, even if you can, to the YouTube, and also subscribe to the Rumble Project Incenssion also. So, it's just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Good.
All right. No, thank you for everything in here. And like I said, we're just going into some stuff here. It's getting exciting now, so it's kind of fun. And then I got Facebook Live actually running back here in the background too. So we've got another, I've got another probably 8,000 people that will get this on that one feed alone. So anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna, well,
What's that, Penny?
I was gonna type in my Skype.
Email, Skype ID.
Yeah, go ahead.
On my phone, but I just figured out I don't have it. I don't think. Or I might be able to post it from. Yeah, this
You
one.
want the Patty Brackett or the Patty Brassard one?
My phone one, because that has pretty much unlimited.
Which one is that? Because I can do it in 2 seconds if you give it me which one it is.
That's the live one. I'll do it here.
Okay.
Copy. Oh, it's not letting me. Copy. Okay. That's my cell phone Skype.
Yeah, so Patty's got hers and I've got Karen's also Truth Intel data groups. We have, they run simultaneously, and then there was another couple like Radiation Graphic Room and Evolution of the Human Race, but we're just focusing on those data groups now. So
And the real old Fukushima Truth is still out there too.
yeah, so what I'd also suggest is people start cleansing, detoxing, get the litmus paper, make sure your pH is up. Like we got to, we don't want to be in 40 and 5D. We're going higher, guys. So I ain't sticking around for this one.
Well, when I say I'm going home, it's non-corporeal. It's back up the tree. So I'm working my way up through the school system up on the tree to eventually get my own planet, so I can make my own new intelligent sentient beings that never have been created before that can possibly ascend in time, because that's what I want to do. But that's me.
Sounds very noble. Sounds very tribal. Cool. Okay, well, we'll see you guys hopefully next week. And like I said, this Saturday we're going to be on with In 5D, which has got a very, very large thing. And if like Greg Prescott's got some great stuff coming in too. So, already?
It was great. Thank you for all.
Great. Thanks for answering so many of my questions.
No problem.
All right.
Okay, see you guys.
Truth, love, and light. Night.